Good evening, everybody. I'll call to order the regular board meeting of the Batavia Board of Trustees. And Andrew, would you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, number 3 is the roll call, and Catherine is going to fill in for Mary Ann tonight, so would you call the roll?
Absolutely. Lowe.
Present.
Deachman.
Here.
Ford. Here. Hubbard here. Larson. Here. Pisano. Russo.
Here. Thank you, Catherine.
Drawing us off.
Next on our agenda is comments from the audience. Would anyone here or online like to speak to the board tonight? Hearing none, we'll move on to number 5. Would someone like to make a motion to approve or amend the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
A motion by Trustee Ford and a second by Trustee Larson. Any discussion? And that is a roll call.
Okay.
I would move approve the agenda. Oh, sorry, no, it's just a voice vote.
Just a voice vote. Okay, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the agenda is approved. Okay, number 6 are the items on the consent agenda. And these are the items on the consent agenda tonight. 6.1, the September 16th, 2025 special board meeting minutes. 6.2, the September 16th, 2025 special board meeting minutes for budget and appropriations. And then we had a third meeting that night, 6.3 on the agenda, and that's the September 16th, 2025 regular board meeting minutes. Also on the consent agenda, 6.4, we have the September 2025 financials. And the financials consist of the treasurer's report for September 2025, the cash and investment report for September 2025, the BMO credit card activity report for September 2025, and the budget report for FY26 September. Also on the consent agenda is 6.5, and that is ordinance 2026.005, and this is the maintenance levy of 0.02% for FY25, and the resolution 2026-002, and that is for
Estimate of funds.
estimate of funds needed for the 2025-26 fiscal year. Would someone like to make a motion to approve or amend the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
So we have a motion by Trustee Deachman and a second by Trustee Hubbard. Any discussion? And for this, we need a roll call vote.
Lowe.
Aye.
Deachman.
Aye.
Ford.
Here.
Hubbard. Larson. Aye. Pisano. Russo.
Aye. And it is approved. Number 7 on our agenda, a presentation of the FY 2025 audit by Lauterbach and Amon.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce Riley Martin, who is running our audit this year, and he's driving all over Illinois doing these presentations, so tonight it's us.
Thanks, Don. I appreciate it. As Don mentioned, my name is Riley Martin. I'm a CPA and audit manager with Lauterbach and Amon. This is my 3rd year working on the library's audit. Like Don said, our firm is specializing with governmental entities, so libraries, park districts, villages, cities. So really our niche here is government, Illinois government. So what I'll cover at the very tail end of the presentation, the management letter comments kind of fall under our umbrella of what we do in expert, or what we are experts of. So I'll touch on that at the very end of the presentation. But first, want to give kudos to Don, and much thanks to Don for a successful audit. I think we started the audit back in August, and now we're done 2 months later. So he really keeps everything in tip-top shape, always has stuff ready for us. So obviously we couldn't be here to present tonight without all of him and his team's hard work. So thank you, Don. With that being said, let's jump right in. So part of our audit package, we usually have 2 large delivery items. Those 2 items in front of you are the beautiful bound copy of your annual financial report. So let's jump into that guy first. If you turn to page 1 of your annual financial report, it's labeled your independent auditor's report. That's the exact reason why you hire us, is because you hire us to give an opinion on the financial statements and whether or not they're fair in all material respects. So the most important paragraph of this piece of paper here is the second paragraph under the opinion section, and I'll paraphrase briefly as to not read it verbatim, but in our opinion, the financial statements referred to in this report here are fair in all material respects. The statement of net position, the governmental activities for the library as of 6/30/2025. That's just a lot of jargon to say that it's the unmodified, it's the cleanest form of opinion you can have in Illinois government. That means that everything in this report was materially correct, nothing that we noticed during our testing that would require us to modify our opinion. While we don't give also explicit opinion on the internal control environment, we do sample tests and reasonableness of controls here at the library, and so everything that Don and his team are doing are good in terms of internal controls. So nothing to change on our end, nothing that we noticed during our testing that would, like I said, cause us to modify our opinion, but everything else here looks great. Turning the page to page 5. Page 5 starts your management's discussion and analysis. If you're not too keen on wanting to read the rest of the financial statements, this is probably a pretty good place where I'd turn your attention to. Those 8 or so pages include a lot of very helpful charts, graphs, summaries, explanations of what's covered in the back of the report. Like I said, if you're not too keen on reading financial statements, this is also some pretty good nighttime reading. It'll put you to sleep, like I said, if you're not too keen on it. So this is a pretty good summary overview of where I would recommend that you turn your attention to. Turning to page 19. Page 19 breaks out the balance sheet for all of your governmental funds. So you can see here across the top we have our general fund, our capital project special reserve fund, and then your non-major funds. So you can see we have our assets, liabilities, and then ending fund balance for the year. Those non-major funds there that are grouped all together in one column, you can see the breakout for those non-major funds on their own 2 pages, pages 52 and 53. Flipping the page to page 21. Page 21 is your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for all of your governmental funds. That's just, in layman's terms, your income statement. So like I said, same funds are broken out at the top: general fund, your special reserve fund, those batched non-major funds, but you can see overall revenues, expenditures, and then other financing sources and uses, those non-operating activity. And then you can see for your ending fund balance for the year, pretty healthy with the general fund, the special reserve fund, and all of your non-major funds, bringing you to a total of just over $8 million in fund balance to end the year across all of your funds. If you're wanting to see the breakout for those non-major funds for your income statement, those can be found, on pages 54 and 55. That's all I have for document 1 of 2. We'll turn to document 2 of 2, and if I refer back to the very start of the presentation, I talked about how our firm specializes in governmental accounting and auditing. So a lot of what's covered in here are one of 2 things. One, it's either things that we've seen from other clients, they're best practice additions, things that we recommend for the library. Part 2 could be GASB, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, is the overseeing board that tells us how to perform our job as auditors. Every single year, it feels like they tack on something new for us to make sure that we're adhering to, or making Don adhere to. So what's covered in a lot of these are either, like I said, 1 or 2 recommendations from other clients, or 2 GASB pronouncements. So with that being said,
But these are not findings.
they're not findings, correct?
Okay.
Correct. Yes. So I want to be clear. It's not like a slap on the wrist. It's more of just general best practice guidelines, but no, by any means, no findings or anything like that, any deficiencies or anything of that sort. So the very first one here was a current recommendation about a fund balance policy note. I think it's also important to turn to management's response. Obviously, Don and I have had a conversation at length about this exact comment. The way the fund balance policy is structured and set up, you can even see it here that the policy is drafted intentionally using the word seeks. It's a goal. It's not a mandatory you have to fit within 25%, and if you don't, hey, everything's off the rails. It's a seeking goal. There's no strict guidelines of having to fall within a certain bubble or a certain frame, but we always just give the management letter comment just in the way the comments or the word or the policy is worded, and we've had the conversation with Don. So we're nothing that we would bring to his attention any further than that. Everything's looking good, but it's just kind of a general best practice that we include that in our management letter comments document. The second one for prior recommendations, funds over budget. There's a brief typo here on this one. The 15,317 that you'll see on your paper was actually corrected. I think what had happened, there was an oversight or miscommunication error between this draft going out and then it was fixed, so another one went out 30 minutes later. So what happened is our clerical person printed out the wrong copy. So this has been fixed. There is no funds over budget comment for 2025. But since it was recommended last year, we always have to do the year that it was identified, and there's also a secondary year to make sure that it's been identified and addressed. So that comment you can scratch off. It's been taken care of for 2025. Just the person in our office accidentally sent out the wrong copy of the report. So no fixes there needed. Just wanted to at least draw attention to it in case there were any questions on it. And then upcoming standards, those are GASB pronouncements. So you can see the first one on here is GASB statement number 103 regarding financial reporting model improvements. That'll be applicable for the end of this current fiscal year, 2026. And GASB statement number 104 regarding the disclosure of certain capital assets. That is also slated for the end of the current 2026 fiscal year. So obviously as those come up and as we're working with Don for the 2026 audit, we'll make sure that we are implementing as necessary and as applicable, and working with Don to make sure that if anything is applicable, make sure we get it included in our footnotes for the report for next year. That is all I have for document 2 of 2. If there are any questions, I'm happy to open up now for those.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
With that word seeks.
Yeah.
I can see there's a lot of importance to that one word. Do you recommend rewriting the policy to highlight that more, or it's just fine?
I think Don has done a pretty good job of creating the policies and getting them up to speed with the way that they are. I think when he first came in, that was a big piece of what he was looking at doing, was really getting a sound set of policies in place. So we have no problem with the policy he's created. It's more of just a standard template note that we give, but nothing that I think he would need to change. I think he's done a pretty good job with all the policies he's implemented and really creating a sound environment, a sound financial environment. That really makes it easy on us auditors, so nothing that I would recommend changing.
Any other
Anything?
questions?
But thank you,
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
team, for the work, and
Yeah.
and Don, thank you. We do need to say, the fact that we had all the documents ready to go.
It was quick.
Important.
Usually a perfect timeline is like between 6 and 8 weeks, and you guys were right on the 8-week mark. So he runs a pretty tight ship. So all good in that respect. So appreciate Don, and looking forward to the rest of the years that we have in our engagement. So looking forward to doing the presentation then next year as well. So thank you all so much.
Nice getting a good report.
Yeah,
Yes.
take care.
And thank you, Don.
On that note, I will make the motion that we accept the audit, independent audit for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025.
So we have a motion by trustee Larson
Second.
and a second by trustee Lowe. Any discussion? And this can be a voice vote,
This would be a roll call vote.
roll call.
Lowe,
Yes.
Deechman,
Aye.
Ford,
Aye.
Hubbard, aye. Larson,
Aye.
Fasano, Russo.
Aye. And the report is accepted. All right. Number 8, new business, the surplus property inventory.
So Andrew on staff, Andrew Beachman, has prepared an inventory of items that they're outdated or we just don't use anymore, we don't need. We've replaced them with newer versions. And so I'm presenting this list to the board to approve our plans of disposal, which is to basically have them recycled.
I'm just curious why recycling rather than trying to sell or,
Most of it are computers that are no longer going to be supported by Microsoft. There was a big change that actually just happened in October, but we've been preparing for this for a couple of years now. So these are no longer supported by Microsoft. We can't put Windows on these computers anymore. So in a business environment, they're not really usable anymore. But we're working with a place called PCs for People. They will take all these computers, they'll pick them up for free. They will refurbish what they can and give them back out to the community for either free or low cost for qualifying folks. So they're not going into the landfill.
I do appreciate
Yeah.
that.
And everything else, yeah, it's all responsibly recycled. They have, I can't remember their wording, but it's like they keep everything as much as they can out of landfills, basically.
Excellent.
That's great to hear. Any other questions about surplus property? Would someone like to make a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the surplus property inventory for recycling.
Second.
So we have a motion by trustee Ford and a second by trustee Hubbard. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's approved. Moving on, number 9, the president's report. Before I talk, do any of the trustees have anything for the board? Chris?
I attended the Friends of the Library meeting this past month, and they, amongst the other things that we talked about, they are going to be at Bat Fest on the 25th. Also, we talked about the van, and they were very excited to fund that if that is the board's desire. And I believe that we had a bunch of labeled bags of the Friends of the Library that we're trying to get rid of. So if anybody has any need of those, I know that those are around there, like the plastic shopping bags. So.
Great. And Chris has stepped in for Christy, who served as the liaison. This is kind of a special week because it's the National Friends of the Library Week. And, you know, we appreciate our friends so much. They've done so much to enrich the user experience at the library, and they've done that for a number of years. They've also supplied us with many board members who moved on from the Friends to the trustees. So I just want to highlight that this is National Friends of the Library Week, and that all of the trustees are members of the Friends of the Board as a show of support. And again, to thank them for all that they do.
One last thing, also, they have a bunch of Spanish language learning books, so up for sale. So if there's any teachers out there that need those in their classroom, that might be a good source to get affordable books.
Great. Moving on, I also just want to mention that the intergovernmental group met last week. This is the Park District, the city, the school district, and the library. And we had a tour of the new Callahan Center, which is a great facility. So that was a nice activity that we did. In our discussion, we reviewed various projects that the city was doing. The various groups made announcements. Joe updated everyone on our roof and renovation project. So it's really just a great way to build relationships and to help support each other. So we will meet again next quarter.
Can I ask a question about that? Were there any projects from the other governmental bodies that might impact us or that we might be interested in knowing?
The city is working with possibly a new TIF district, so it's not ready to come to us yet, but it probably will be in the future.
Many, many years from now.
And then,
I mean, it didn't come out of this meeting, but I think because we are we're collaborating and partnering with the different government bodies in Batavia. So while the city did contact me about the EV installing EV chargers in our parking lot. So, you know, it's this kind of open communication and support that comes out of it. But we, and it's also really great because we update each other on what initiatives we have, things that we're doing, and then that creates, you know, more conversation about its impact on the community and how we might be able to partner in the future on new ideas, et cetera.
I know that happens at an admin level, and I think that the community could benefit it if it happened at the board level, at least occasionally. I know that there have been a few intergovernmental meetings for their boards, but I think they're exceedingly rare. Maybe just every once in a while would be advantageous.
I know that you've mentioned that before, and I do have that down. Everybody's pretty busy, but we won't lose track of that.
I'll keep mentioning.
Okay. The last thing I just want to mention that our treasurer Elizabeth and I and Joe and Don are going to meet on Thursday just to go over the financial things to prepare for our report discussion at the next COW meeting in November. So those are all the things I have. One last chance for trustees. Anything else to bring up? Okay. Then moving on, director's report.
So my apologies that I neglected to attach it to the agenda last week, but it is in your agenda now, so I'll go through. You probably haven't had a chance to look at it yet. So, in terms of the consent agenda for the September financial highlights, September 30th was the end of the first quarter for the fiscal year. So far, we have received $4,925,120 in tax revenue for 2025 property taxes as of September 30th. That's 98% of what we have budgeted. And there'll be 2 more small distributions in October this month. Our salaries and IMRF expenses were a bit higher above budget due to retirements and other separations. Total personnel expenses remain within budget with 77% of the budget remaining. Other expenses also remain within budget, 83% remaining in materials, all of our collections expenses, and 80% remaining in our general operating expenses. For our cash and investments allocations as of the end of the September, cash and checking was $15,152. Liquid investment pools, $6,158,300. And CDs and U.S. Treasuries, $6,368,004. So that's just a little bit, you know, to summarize the financials for September. Let's see. Here's an update for the roof replacement project. So Kathy and I met with All American and BTC this morning. The shingle installation, most of the shingles have been installed, and the remaining work will be completed by the end of tomorrow, if it's not already completed today. They're doing counter flashing, which it still needs to do that, expected to be finished by the end of tomorrow. The low slope area of the roof, there was some supplies or materials that they did not have yet. They are expected to arrive next week. It's called the membrane, which is you put the gravel on top of the membrane. I don't know why they don't call it a lining, but it is the membrane. So they're waiting to get that still. It has been shipped, and it's supposed to arrive next week, if not by the end of this week. And then it takes about a week for them to finish the low slope roof. The gutters are being fabricated, and installation, once they're finished with the fabrication and they have the gutters, it'll take about a week to install them. And then they also will perform an infrared scan And this is how they can look and see if there's any moisture anywhere in the roof with the insulation. And if they find any moisture, then they will cut it out and replace it with dry insulation. The project is, the tentative date now for the completion of the project is the early part of November. We have our final, we assume our final meeting with BTC and All American Roofing on Tuesday, November 4th. All American is going to provide a comprehensive maintenance plan for us, and then BTC is going to prepare an RFP that we can use when we find who's going to do that maintenance for us. All American could do the maintenance for us. If there's any specifications that need to be outlined though, and we go with a different company, the RFP will cover all of that. So, that's the roof update. Any questions about that?
Were we satisfied with the contractor?
Yes. Renovation project update. The architects prepared the RFQ for construction management services, and it's also attached to this agenda. They added in dates or a schedule for the RFQ. Kathy and Don and I will conduct the interviews for whoever submits an RFQ during the first week of December, and then we'll narrow it down to 3 RFQs that we will present to the board with a recommendation of who our top pick is at the December 16th meeting. I know that we don't always meet in December, but I prefer not to postpone it till January if we could. It could be a very brief meeting. But we won't be able to do it until December. We can't do it in November because of the timeline. And then as Don mentioned, we're meeting, Don, Daniel, Elizabeth and I are meeting Thursday? Yes, Thursday the 23rd to discuss the finances for the renovation project. And then Don is out of town for our November CAL meeting, so he has asked
Andrew Kim
who
will be
presented
presenting
to the board in the past from PMA, which is now called something else.
ETMA or something like
Yeah.
that.
So Andrew Kim will
extra
be
letter.
here to do a little financial forecast for the board, specifically kind of focusing on the renovation project and how we can fund that moving forward. And then at that November regular meeting in November, the board will need to approve budget for the renovation project so that we can proceed. They've started the installation process for the EV charging stations. And I have prepared a little statement about them that I was going to share with Mary Ann, but she's not here. So just to post on our website and social media about this. The city already did a press release about this and mentioned that they were installing them at the library, but
Before we voted on it, by the way.
Oh, did you vote on it?
The EV, before we talked about it in our meeting, my husband had read the press release and said something about, and I said, oh, we're talking about a meeting. He
Well,
said,
it's
the
not
city
cost-
already released.
Yeah, because
statement.
it's not costing the library anything to have them installed, so it's funded by, mostly by a grant and then the rest by the city. It was like a $320,000 grant, and there'll be 4 EV chargers total, I believe, in the city. 2 at the high school and 2 here at the library. I don't know how soon or how long it will take for the installation, but I will let everyone and the public know once they're up and running and ready to use. And you can see where it's been fenced off, where they're going to be doing the installation.
So
So,
will that cost us anything?
no, it doesn't cost us
I mean,
anything.
not for just the installation, but in the future.
No, because we have an agreement with them about any maintenance or, security issues. It's taken care of by the city.
And people pay for it.
Yeah. So we have 3 new hires since we didn't really go over a director's report in September because we had so much going on. So in September and October, we had 3 new staff added to the library. Cesar Orozco is our creative media coordinator. You can see some of his work already on display in the lobby with the Friends of the Library Week appreciation poster, etc. So he's also been taking photographs and videos, which he will be posting on our social media accounts. We also have Tara Kazda, who is a new full-time youth services librarian that joined us in September, October?
Same day as Caesar.
Oh, same day as Caesar, okay. So, and then Alyssa Smith, who you have met, is our administrative assistant. We've had several departures in the months of September and October. Amanda Vanderwerf in youth services, she was a full-time librarian who has left the library. Hans Kaiser in promotional services retired, and Kristen Zambo in promotional services also has left the library. There haven't been any status changes with the staff. We've had many anniversaries. Mary Fee in circulation, 21 years. Shelby Cunningham in circulation, 15 years. Kathy Moker in facilities, 15 years. Nancy Crook-Elkin in tech services, 13 years. Amy Marks in youth services, 6 years. Tasha Owens in circulation, 3 years. Nan Weiss in circulation, 10 years. And Kristen Streetby, circulation, 2 years. She's the baby of the group. Okay, so in terms of donations, we had a $50 donation from Judith and James Rice in memory of Almarie Steers. And then Kathy Hubbard, the former Stormers, made $175.
And there's more in that envelope.
$175 donation for Born to Read, and she just gave us another donation for Born to Read. And the current balance in our Batavia Public Library Fund with the Community Foundation is $130,590.87. And the actual statement from their website is included, attached to the agenda. So the COW meeting is on the 6th, where we'll have a chance, the board will have a chance to discuss the budget for renovation and the renovation in general. We also will be presenting the draft for our levy ordinance. We have to file that in November. I think we have until sometime in early December, but we always like to do it in November. And that is a very important ordinance because it's 96% of our revenue comes from our levy. And then at the regular board meeting on the 18th, you will vote on the budget for the renovation project, and you will vote to approve the levy. And those are the 2 biggies that I can think of in November.
Can we circle back to departures?
Yeah.
Who is replacing the promotional services to employees that left?
Cesar Orozco.
So it's a new title.
Yeah, he's doing a sort of a combination of the 2 positions. Cesar is full-time, and he is, as he's acclimating and learning the ropes here at the library, he's going to help assess how much more support he needs in that department, and then we're going to go from there.
Other questions?
Okay, oh, sorry. Excuse me. Let me get back to the agenda. Okay, so let's see, let's look at stats. So Alyssa has done some fancy work with our stats, creating some charts and graphs, which I find to be a really good visual aid for looking at data. So our total circulation, if you go down, I'll show the chart. Our total circulation in September of last year we had 43,561 items circulate. And then this year was a little bit lower at 42,528. But the fiscal year to date from last year and then this year were actually a tiny bit higher than we were this time last year, at 138,821 items that have circulated. That includes print and digital materials and e-materials as well. For library visitors, this year we've had so far 50,550 visitors. And last year we were just under that at 49,852. And in terms of year to date in the fiscal year this year and last year, we're a little bit higher by about 300 than we were this time last year in terms of library visitors. For our programs, in September of last year, we had 67 programs, both passive and active, and virtual. This year, we had 179, so it's a huge leap. Oh, I'm sorry, this is fiscal year 26. The month was 67. Year to date is 179, so that's 3 months worth of programs. And then our attendees for those programs, for the month of September, we had 2,454 participants. Year to date for the fiscal year, so for 3 months, it was just under 8,000 attendees at our programs for 3 months. So there's our, those are, I like the charts, thank you, Alyssa. We still have the more information about social media. You know, it breaks down our programs up in the tables above, so if you want more detail. Any questions?
The charts are great. They tell the story quickly and easily.
Yes, thank you very much. Megan is not here. She is on her honeymoon out west. So I am going to just go over her Adult and Teen Services Board report in her place. So for programs and outreach, they had 641 people attend 26 in-person programs during the month of September, and they had 651 people participate in 3 passive programs. They do a lot of the crafts at that table right by the reference desk, and they get a lot of participation with that. 119 people attended 3 virtual programs, and 355 items were delivered to patrons during 11 visits to senior facilities this month. So that's a lot of books. The library donated 100 books to Rack at the Track in Geneva this month. And teen librarian Mallory Manning interacted with 73 students at her visit to Batavia High School. Her visits have been so popular that BHS requested she start coming more regularly. So we are working out details to have her go monthly to the school. Adult and Teen Services librarian Kristen Schultz coordinated the successful launch of our new Library Speaker Consortium access. These bring multiple virtual author events each month to our patrons. Upcoming events in October feature YA author Lee Bardugo, Nobel Peace Prize laureate Malala Yousafzai, and historical fiction author Philippa Gregory. 119 patrons watched the September events live, and 548 people watched pre-recordings of past speaker events that remain available on the site set up for our patrons. Adult and Teen Services Associate Carly Mahoney and Adult and Teen Services librarian Laura James held our first craft supply swap that 103 people attended. People were very generous in their contributions, and many happily walked away with a lot of fun new supplies for themselves. Adult and Teen Services Associate Misty Jump coordinated our first dementia-friendly movie outing. She worked with Covenant Living, Heritage Woods, Elder Day, and other local partners to ensure people living with dementia could attend a movie geared to their interests and comfort at Imagine Batavia. 11 people attended, and each facility expressed interest in sending more people in the future. So the next movie is scheduled in December. We partnered with the City of Batavia to offer a senior tech support class that had 33 attendees. The city is interested in partnering with us on more classes like this in the future. In terms of collection in the library space, they added the Chicago Tribune Digital Access is back. So we'll no longer be using Press Read. It's no longer available through Press Reader. We joined through our Rails partnership to make sure that Batavia cardholders can read the Tribune online. It is listed on our database page and grants access for either 24 hours or 3 days, depending on if patrons choose to set up a free account or view it as a guest. We have worked closely with technical services and youth services staff to get Ingram up and running. As you know, Baker and Taylor is going under. And luckily, we started this process long before they went under, because we were not getting a lot of materials. There were so many things back ordered, and like half of our orders weren't coming. So we were exploring Ingram already. And then it wasn't really a huge surprise when Baker and Taylor
Sudden but not.
yeah, went out of business, but we are already ahead of the game by implementing Ingram before that happened. So, and that's a big thanks to Stephanie for making that all
Way to go,
happen.
Stephanie.
Woo.
Way to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah. It became a much bigger undertaking than what we expected, because we have to process more of the materials. That's not set up yet with Ingram.
There's a big backlog for new customers.
Because so many people are flocking to them right now.
Right, and they're in the process of transitioning one of their platforms that they have, so they don't want to onboard new customers with the cataloging side of things and with the pre-processing side of things until they get migrated to that new system.
So they're busy in tech services.
We're busy, yes.
And Joe McCain has been coming in like twice a week and helping with covering books, et cetera, et cetera.
So once they switch to their new system, we'll get onto that, and that workload will lower?
Yeah, there's a couple different parts of it. One of the things is, you know, they give us catalog records to start with, so that way patrons can place holds on things that we have on order. That's the piece that's that's one of the pieces that's slowing things down. The other piece is the book jackets, because it takes a while to put a jacket on every single book.
Fair.
It's where Joe McCain comes in.
Yeah. Joe McCain and technical services are working hard to make all that go faster.
Thank you. And I believe that is all for Megan's report. She will be back next week from her well-deserved honeymoon. And now Liesl is up for youth services.
Last but not least, right? All right, so youth services in the month of September. Fall rolls around and the kids go back to school, and we have just a little bit of time between the end of summer reading and that start of school to kind of catch our breath and get ready for fall. And we are fully in the swing of things with back to regular storytime programming and whatnot. As I've mentioned before, we're kind of playing around a little bit with our storytime offering, still kind of trying to find a sweet spot. Things have changed a lot since the pandemic in terms of attendance, and we have a lot more of like, I just want to drop in when I feel like it. So we're trying to kind of meet those needs, but also the needs of folks that want to have something that's kind of regularly scheduled that they're signed up for. I have some pictures here of our toddler time. That age group definitely is the sweet spot for us right now. They're a little too young for preschool yet, but parents and caregivers are eager to be able to get them out of the house. And if we're being honest, probably caregivers are eager to get out of the house and have some grown-up conversation as well. So they're a real fun group, a lot of energy. And we do a lot of just kind of building their early literacy skills. And there's so much that goes into it aside from just reading to them. We're working on those gross and fine motor skills, cooperative skills, things like listening, taking turns, sharing, sitting still, which if you've ever had a toddler in your house, you know is nigh to impossible, but they do get there eventually. Sensory playtime continues to be a popular one for us as well. Our theme in the month of September was pirates. And as you can see, they had a lot of fun digging and doing all kinds of fun hands-on activities. We learned about how things float, and a big shout out again to the Friends for funding of that sensory table, which you see on the far right there. We use that for a lot of fun things, and it helps us contain the mess, which I know our facility staff is grateful for as well. Homeschool Hangout, we do a monthly homeschool program here in Youth Services. What we learned this year is that unfortunately, Funway has a new homeschool program the same exact day of the month as ours. So Amy Marks, our school services librarian, thinking quick on her feet, called them up and said, hey, could I come to the first event of the school year and kind of get the word out and kind of find out when people might be interested in coming to something where there's not a conflict. And if I recollect correctly, that happened about a week or so ago, and she had about 35 people that she had a chance to chat with and kind of make some awareness of our programming, and we're working towards adapting toward a different day and time to make sure that we're not conflicting with that Funway event. Blue STEM Award is our state's award for grades 3 to 5, and we carry the books for that. It's sponsored by the Association of Illinois School Librarian Educators, and our school services librarian, Amy Marks, tries to highlight some of those titles. This was something kind of new to us last fall that she came up with. She calls it the Blue STEM Bakery. If you feed them, they will come, right? And then she tries to highlight a couple of titles at each program that she does, and then some type of a craft or a game. And she had 7 students at her first program, which is pretty good for something that centers around books for us. We continue to offer all ages and family programming, so family story time, an evening family story time called Stuffies and Stories, and Lego Club. Can't get enough of families wanting to come and just play with Legos, and we try to have their little creations on display as well. And then in terms of outreach, fall always brings the return of our preschool visits, which obviously take a break over the summer. We're fortunate enough to have a partnership with Mill Creek Cooperative Preschool as well as Batavia Nursery School, and both of them visit us on a monthly basis. We would happily come to them, but they like to be able to have a field trip, and so there's a picture there of Mary Podrasky leading the Mill Creek preschool visit. And Batavia Nursery School, I have to say, has it down to a science. They come, they have so many volunteers. I thought we had some really strange gathering out one day as I was pulling up to work, and there were all these adults and all this milling around. I'm like, what on earth is going on? And it was the first meeting of Batavia Nursery School, and they were all gathered outside, and they had parent volunteers, and they all had their little red bags, because after we do story time, they all troop downstairs, and each child gets to pick out 2 books to check out, which is fabulous as well. So it's a lot of fun and a lot of energy. We really enjoy having them come visit us each month during the school year. Dramatic play continues to be bustling, especially now that the weather is getting colder. Our monthly theme was Fire Station. We are a little bit ahead of the curve. October is Fire Safety Month, but we had a lot of fun watching them play in the fire station, try on the little coats, and a big shout out to Youth Services Associate Holly DeBose, who also works in circulation. This was her responsibility during the month of September, and you might see from the photo there's a little thing that's got a bunch of stuff sticking out of it. It's a building that she made out of a box, and they could actually pretend to put out the fire and rescue people from the building, so it was absolutely adorable. And Holly was also responsible for our passive activity for the month of September, and it would featured all kinds of Illinois birds, and the chance to kind of lift the flap and learn some facts about them, and for our young friends that don't read yet, just kind of matching it to a sheet on a clipboard. So wonderful creative staff as always in Youth Services, and I am so very fortunate to work with them. Any questions about what's going on in Youth Services?
Sounds like fun.
Thank you.
I love that it's the Batavia Fire Station.
Absolutely.
Generic.
Absolutely, and I don't know, I did highlight it in my my narrative. She had the foresight to say, how can we make community connections? So above and beyond Batavia Fire Station, she had a little flip book, and it had pictures of the chief and the lieutenants and stuff, so the kids could actually put some faces with names out in our community, which is fabulous. Thank you.
I have 2 other comments I'd like to share. I'm sorry Megan's not here, but I hope you share it with her. I think what we've heard tonight are such good examples of how libraries are changing. You know, obviously information is easier. We all have computers or access to phones that can give us information. So, you know, providing information isn't what it used to be, but we have other opportunities now. So like that craft swap and dementia movies, you know, that's really a chance to be that community hub where everyone is welcome and everyone gets service at the library. And in Lisa, your report mentioning, you know, the homeschool hangout and then the connection with Funway and working that all out, as well as other organizations in town. I really think that shows what libraries can become, that this really is a time of new opportunities. And the other thing that I just want to highlight is Amy Mark serving on the Blue STEM committee. That Reader's Choice Award is such a big thing in schools. And, you know, anybody can serve on the committee, they apply and get invited, but, you know, to get invited and to take that extra step to really be a part of it, you build so many connections with other librarians and get ideas, and it's a chance to show off the good things happening at Batavia too. So I just wanted to be sure to mention that.
Absolutely, thank you.
Well, moving on, number 12 is adjournment. Oh no, upcoming meetings. So our upcoming meetings, the Committee of the Whole on November 6th at 6:30 and the regular board meeting on November 18th at 6:30.
We also have to mention the upcoming meeting for the bylaws.
Right.
We
Which,
haven't confirmed it, we've got to make sure we have the room and.
right.
Tentatively.
Yeah, I booked it.
Tentative.
I booked it.
So,
You booked it, okay.
Yeah, but it's 12:15 to 3:30. We got someone in the room till 12:15.
12, okay.
And what's the date of it?
28th of October.
October 28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Scott. Did that quick.
Can I ask a question? Is there any update on Flyleaf and what's going on with that, or anything else that you can share?
Well, I did inform Flyleaf that we were not extending their lease, and I contacted Limestone and let them know that that's been taken care of. And once Anne prepares a list of equipment that she would like to sell, then we will share it with Limestone, because I know they'd be interested in buying any equipment that she has that she's not taking with her.
We're going to need some new signage out there too, right?
Oh, yeah. It's not going to happen until, I mean, her lease isn't up until the 31st of December. But yeah, there'll be a whole process involved in bringing Limestone in. And but even, I don't know how long it will take for them to move in and get it set up, but I wouldn't anticipate it would be any earlier than the end of January.
Are the tables and chairs in their library property, or
I think they are, aren't they?
Mhm.
The tables and chairs, Kathy?
They were, but I think Flyleaf purchased them.
Oh, were they maybe surplus
We
that they
haven't,
bought or
we
something
haven't
like that?
drawn up a lease yet for Limestone or anything like that, but, and I haven't made a public statement yet. But the plan is to do that between now and the end of the year. Get everything all lined up.
So Limestone approached you and it's pretty definite.
They are definitely interested. I mean, we've been going back and forth for about a month now, just, you know, touching base. And they came and talked with me and Kathy, and they are very excited. They're going to hire new staff, and they've said that they could extend the hours a little during the week to be open on nights when we have programs. We don't have those details defined yet, but they're very open and to all sorts of possibilities.
And bakery items.
Yeah, it's mostly sweet bakery items. They do have some savory things. They make a lot of their baked goods themselves, but they also outsource to a local Batavia baker.
Okay.
Number 12, adjournment. I'll make the motion to adjourn.
second?
Motion by trustee Russo and a second by trustee Lowe. We don't need to discuss it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.